wild.
Yeah, and the swing dance community is very similar to the improv community.
Huh. That's so awesome.
I think Gina, another performer, she's also a swing dancer.
Yeah.
And I didn't know her through that community, but we always talked about the parallels of, like, listening and dancing and just feeling, being honest in the moment of those when you're dancing or when you're performing.
Yeah, plus the sort of small small moves to indicate change with each other. So it's like when you know, because I've done a little bit of swing dancing, like right after college, I did a little bit of it, but I didn't get involved. I just took I think I went to some club with a couple friends of mine, and we ended up going for a couple of weeks, and then it was like I was just doing comedy. So, but to know the idea of the way that they communicate is very like improv, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things you do in improv to let your scene partner know things that the audience can't tell, but like the other people, or even anything, like one of my favorite lessons that I like to teach in my level 1 is I'll make them all wordlessly play a single character, and they have to walk into a room and interact with 3 objects. And then when we finish that, we confirm what those 3 objects are, and then I go, what do we assume about a person who interacts with those 3 objects? What do we know about them? And I like to make larger, like, jumps. Like, it's like, this person is using a clicker and a TV, so they're not homeless. So they probably have a job. It's very likely. They're over 18.
Oh, that's good.
You know, like, just little things that you can assume. It's like, this person walked in and used a walker. We know their age already. Great. Sweet. We've got that out of the way. We don't have to ask. We don't have to we can make that assumption directly. And so the idea of that makes me think of certain moves that I recall in swing dancing, where it's like, you know, the squeeze of a hand, or like the position of the hand on your back can let you know, okay, we're going to change what we normally do in this moment, and we're going to do this other move. And it's like, I love this.
Yeah.
And the audience is like, how did they know?
That's communication,
so great.
Baby.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah, and you can just, like, feel in the music or in the dancing till when you're, like, really... For me, like, when I'm really having a great dance with my... with a dance partner, or even just myself, it's just, like, feels so free and feels so good. And it feels very easy. And same thing with I'm in a scene with anyone, and I feel like I'm being listened to, or I feel like I'm listening to them. It just feels like anything is fully, there's like elements of trust all over it.
Speaking of which, you've got a troupe that you've been with for a long time, Empty Promises, right?
Promises, that's right.
And you guys so you've worked together quite a long time. You probably have the sort of wordless communication down and really awesome listening. What are you doing now? And you don't have to, like, trade secrets. Tell us no, it's going. Don't tell us how Empty Promises does it. Yeah. They're too amazing for everyone to know. But you've recently added a couple new members. Are there a
lot of new members?
How many did you add? What happened?
We added 6
did you
or
lose
7.
Some? Whoa!
Yeah, we added a lot.
It's probably better.
Yeah, it is very good. So there was originally 7 of us, and then it came down to 3 of us after people have moved on to different stuff, or took breaks, or are in different seasons of life, or of their comedy careers.
Yeah.
We added 6 or 7 people, and we did a rehearsal, and kind of based who we picked on who we felt made good moves, good improvised instincts or techniques or moves, or ones that we just liked and made us laugh.
Right on. And now you are having rehearsals to kind of meld together to kind of find that space, or are you... do you guys rehearse regularly, like weekly, to
every week,
get in each other's heads and make sure you're connected?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we work every week with Jastro.
Oh, good. So you have like a solid coach.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We work with Michael Jastro, and he's great. Teaches. We've been a Herald troupe since we started. We're the longest running Herald troupe in Austin.
Nice.
No big deal. I feel that's like silly.
That's wonderful.
I just like saying silly facts.
No, that's wonderful. Absolutely.
And he works with us about, we're doing first and second beats right now, and his mind is incredible. people are making so many good moves in rehearsal. I'm just like, oh man, hope we can do this on the stage in front of an audience, because rehearsal is always amazing.
Sure, yeah. Rehearsal can be such a different world, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've probably experienced that too, when you're like, these rehearsals are sometimes better than the shows we put on.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I told somebody the other day, I haven't done improv in a while, and it's because I'm still kind of mourning the end of my last troupe, which was Water Park. It was a musical improv troupe, and it just... we added a few at the end, like when people had moved away and we needed to flesh it out again. But once we got those new people, we did a couple of shows, and then everybody kind of got busy, and then it broke up. But originally, when we had the first 5 of us who did shows for a while, I mean, the rehearsals were like transcendent. It was like, because we're singing too, so like we're in rehearsals trying to do. Because we spent a lot of rehearsal time working on song structure, so that, because we were like, we all know how to do improv, great. We'll do some improv rehearsals for sure, but at first we need to sing together, we need to figure out different ways to sing, and similar to what we were talking about with the swing dancing, figure out ways to like communicate with each other. I'm about to sing this kind of song, join in with me in this way, without directly saying it and letting the audience know. So we did a bunch of that kind of stuff. And so, man, sometimes we'd record them, and it'd be like, what, the harmonies we got going, like, the levels of this song, like, oh my God. And then we'd do a show, and, you know, nerves are intense, and there's people around, and we're like, what's gonna happen? And we make dumb decisions on stage, and all of a sudden we're singing some stupid song that doesn't sound as good as any of the rehearsal songs, you know. Yeah, I bet, too, you guys have a wonderful, like... new group vibe where you're like just excited to be with one another.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's great.
Everyone's really talented, really smart, and like a diverse experience of improv and backgrounds and perspective and culture, and that's kind of what that was the goal, to add more people to give different perspectives, because it was all like us white guys for a long time.
I was going to ask, did you add females, or is it still an all-dude troupe?
Yeah, we had some badass women.
Great.
And a few other dudes.
7 people. That's a lot of people to have.
Yeah. Everyone's really good.
That's awesome. I like that you guys have a coach, too, because I find that, especially with troupes that have been around for a little while, if there isn't a coach to be the leader, then the people who have been around longer end up sort of like being leader by, you know, grandfathered in, and then there's tension when you play, because you're like, it's like playing with my boss, you know, and that's not quite as fun, weird, huh? You know. Yeah, that can be difficult if you don't have like a regular coach to kind of buoy the tough times. Yeah,
an unbiased third party.
Yeah. Has Jassa been working with Empty Promises for a long time?
We worked with Jastro maybe a couple of years ago. It was a year ago, off and on for maybe 6 months, and then we worked with one coach for a couple of years when we first started.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's helped you guys shape your show and get a good flow for how you're performing together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jastro's a great coach because he just like calls us out and like just side coaches us a lot. They're like, why did you make that move? And ask us to like defend some of our work or choices that we make. In essence, for us to communicate our thoughts, and not saying that there are better moves, but just so we understand the choices that we're making in those moments.
Yeah. Plus to like have the wherewithal to think about what you're doing in the moment is a skill that you have to really work on. That's one of the hardest parts. I personally, like I said, haven't really performed too much improv. Like I've done a lot of sketch for the past couple of years, and so my improv's on the wayside as far as my performance. Thankfully I teach level 1, so I can perform level 1.
And you're a great level 1 teacher.
Oh, you're very sweet. Thank you for that. I like it a lot, talking with the new people, but one of the things that is super hard, and I always tell them, guys, I have this problem too, so don't feel bad that you have it, but it's when you're on stage and your brain is just so like trying to do so many things that it becomes like white noise, like you turned on the television to a channel it doesn't have, and I'm like, every time I'm on stage, all I hear in my head is just shh.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, believe me, it's okay, because they'll go and do something and I'll ask them a question like that, and it's level 1, so like they have no idea why they did anything, but I'll go, why do you think maybe you made that decision? And then they're like, did I say that? And you're like, you did, you know. And I'm like, I totally understand, like, believe me, when you're up on stage, it is so like, oh, what's happening right now? So to be able to calm down and do it, it sounds really wonderful. How consistently, like, did you guys take a break when it whittled down to 3, or did you just perform as a threesome, and then decide, yeah, we need more to bulk this crowd up?
Yeah, let me think. Yeah, we had a lot of out-of-town shows. So we went to Del Close Marathon, DCM in New York over the summertime, and that was incredible. Played at UCB. It was such a good feeling to play on that stage. It was great. And then we had a show in Washington, D.C. at the DC, Washington, D.C. In September of 2017. And then Alejandro moved away, and then a few other people like took breaks. And we kind of recalibrated like what we want, and so a lot of this work has been done with like me and Matt Needles saying like, hey, we want to continue this, and like, Amy, you know what this is like when everyone's moving away and you like have this project you're like, you put time and effort and money into, and you're like, I don't want this to die. What can we do to make this project not die? Either that's like an identity thing, like this is mine, or this is ours. I don't know what those motivations are. We could probably talk about that for hours.
I think that a lot of times when you have a project that you know goes well, and you get to a point sort of age in life where you're willing to deal with the ups and downs. Like, because sometimes, like, it sounds like very natural what happened with the people moving away. Somebody got a new job, somebody's got, you know, a baby, they can't do as much. You know, it's difficult to navigate, so yeah, that happens. But sometimes, you know, it's more about, it turns out I don't really, this isn't something I want to put all my energy into. And you're like, okay, I do. This is how I want to put my energy. And so it's almost like your identity to have this group.
It totally is.
It can be hard to like finish and start over with a brand new group. Again, like I said, I'm about 3 years mourning my last troupe, so I understand. But I mean, I do understand the idea of trying to maintain a project. Like my sketch show, The Neighborhood, no one other than myself has been in every single one of the neighborhoods. Like I have, there's an ebb and flow of people in and out of that show. People will come for 6 months, they'll, you know, do the show with me, and then they're gone. And, you know, it's each time for them, it's like a sad breakup when they leave. And the more it happens, the more I'm just like, it's cool. No worries. There's somebody else that wants to be in the show. Like, you're fine. It's going to be okay. And like, it's kind of like you hold... Well, yeah, but you do it for a long time. If you're the one... If I had 3 or 4 other people and it was like us, and then we continued... Like, if I had Matt Needles, you know, if I had someone who was next to me who was doing it, and I could see it feel differently. But right now it's kind of like, no, this is just the flow of this show. The fact that you do 3 months and then you're gone, totally cool. No worries. You're all good. Like, it's kind of like accepting, like I said, the ebb and the flow of a relationship. Because, like, as you get older, if you're friends with somebody for a long time, or if you're dating somebody, or if you're married to somebody, some days it's not great. Sometimes you're like, okay, whatever. Oh, yeah. You know, and same with troops, you know. So sometimes you're like, okay, whatever. And like any relationship, you make a decision whether or not you want to keep it or if you want to let it go and move forward, you know. Some relationships, troops, marriages, they're tough to break up, and people generally feel sad at the end of them. But sometimes, I mean, like, we've all done, I don't know how much other travel you had. I mean, going from Ohio to Arizona is kind of huge. So,
it's huge. When
you leave places, because I traveled around a bunch, when I first graduated from college to be like, where should I live? I don't know. And there's a lot of friends that I had. It was so important, our relationship. And then I don't really even talk to them now. Like,